Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. In the last episode, we actually bonded with Sarah. We ate some raisin cookies up on the roof, and yes, the raisin cookies were shit. However, the cookies weren't what was important. It was the fact that Sarah and Aenor actually had a nice little bonding experience. That is what counts. Now, before I head up to Cowl, I just want to see if Sarah has anything else to say.
Can't wait, what's on?
Okay. Yeah, we can actually ask if she wants to spend some time up on the roof whenever we like. However, considering we did that last episode, I think I'll leave this for a while. Nothing new there. And I think this might be new.
I'd like to know more about you, now that you're comfortable.
Suppose. It's embarrassing enough now, may as well.
Okay, so where do you hate cookies? So we can ask about her past. I get why you're an odd elf. And Meriden has perfect timing. I love it. I get why you're an odd elf. She's Sarah. Sarah is Sarah. I don't like this. I may not like Sarah all that much, but I don't... If she's an odd elf, then what is a normal elf? Would Aenor qualify as a normal elf? Bearing in mind that she has no interest in rebuilding the Elven Empire. She's like, no, let's build something better. Let's build something different. Why do we have to obsess over the past? Yeah, remember the past, learn from it, but why should we obsess over it? Why can't we do something new and different? So would Aenor be considered an odd elf? And Sarah has clearly suffered. She has absolutely had either Dalish or city elves look down on her because she's not in tune with her elven heritage. That's trauma to just... Oh, well, that's not trauma, that's just her being odd. That's really insulting. We shouldn't trivialize her trauma as an oddity. I really don't like this, and I don't think Aenor would say it. But, asking about her past, that... I think Aenor would absolutely do that.
Anything more to say about where you came from, aside from hating cookies there?
Denerim mostly. Before running into another Jenny. He was fun. Had weird friends though. I think some of them were a lot more serious about being serious. Got some of them killed. I suppose they were like family. Better than Lady Emerald ever was. You know why? They didn't give two squirts about who or what you were. It was all what you did.
Oh, Speaking of, Sarah's heritage and the fact that she isn't very much at all in tune with it, and, considering she's brought up Emerald, I think the problem there, I think what ultimately went wrong is that Emerald adopted a child because, she couldn't have one, she wanted to raise a kid. However, she picked a child that was a different race from her, quite literally. In Dragon Age's case, in Sarah's case, she was an elf, Emerald was a human. And Emerald was not in a position, or she wasn't prepared to teach Sarah about what that heritage would entail for her. I'm not talking about the elven gods or doing things like the city elves would. She never prepared Sarah for a world that will see her as inferior because of the shape of her ears. There is a lot of racism directed towards elves, and most humans will see Sarah one way, and Emerald kind of... She separated Sarah from, the elves in the alienage, so Sarah can't connect with them, she can't connect with the Dalish, and as such, when she faces racism, who does she go to? She has no one. All she has is herself. And I know there is a great deal of discourse in in our real world about whether you should adopt a child that is a different ethnicity. My opinion on that is that I have no opinion because I am not qualified to speak on that matter. I am not a person of colour, I am not an adopted child, and I am not someone who has adopted a child. I do not have the necessary knowledge to properly comment. On the outside looking in, I can see where both sides are coming from. From people who just want to adopt a kid, they want to adopt a kid. There are plenty of kids out there who need loving homes, and if we have the ability to provide that home, what should it matter what colour skin the child has? But I can also see the perspective of, I was adopted by this white couple, and they could never prepare me for the racism that I would experience in the outside world. Or I feel like I have been cut off from my culture. I feel like a part of me has been removed because they didn't raise me, in line with my ethnicity. I get where both sides are coming from. I have no personal experience that I can add, so, like I said, my opinion is that I have no opinion. I can simply see where everyone is coming from. And in Sarah's case, like I said, Emerald didn't prepare her for the racism she would face in the world, and she also cut her off from being able to empathise with city elves. She has nothing in common with them. And so Sarah is effectively alone. She has the Red Jennies, yeah, she's gotten a found family, but growing up, she didn't really have everyone. That's incredibly sad. I think that's ultimately where that divide she clearly feels, that, at one point she probably loved the Lady Emerald, but she grew up and kind of realised that she's separated me. I was unprepared for the cruelty of the world because of the things she did. I hope I'm making sense there. I really hope I am. Where are they now? Is that who trained you? How'd you get to Orlais? And any memories of a real family? I'm going to save that one till last. We're just going to go around.
So where are the rest of them?
All over. Or they stopped to let new people go all over. Some get rich and stop playing so they can do good things with it. One or two don't. Eventually, someone asks for a favor against them. Don't get like that, you hear?
Ooh.
So is that who showed you how to fight? Gave you your skills?
Nobody gave me anything except a chance. And maybe some lessons to start, but mostly just a chance. I took that and ran.
And how'd you get to Orlais?
Denerim is a long way from Orlais. How'd you get there?
By Stinky Horse?
Sarah.
Denerim wasn't much fun after the Blight. Everyone trying to recover, you even feel bad for the nobles. But Val Royeaux, that's a fat city full of fat heads. They just don't know when to stop. You saw it. Orlais is rich and stupid. Right for the pickings.
Do you remember your actual family at all? Your parents?
Well, there is the amulet I had as an orphan that has a missing piece. And look at your face. You believe me? No, still no parents. I remember an alienage with arseholes and hating that stupid tree. The one elves always have. Of all the things to pray at, they could at least pick one with apples.
I've mentioned this before. I wonder if Sarah is Amathine. Amathine was a little elven girl that you could find in the alienage. If you had played through the human noble origin and spoken to Iona, then you'd know who Amathine was. Iona was Amathine's mother, and she mentions that Amathine has her father's eyes, but her father died when she was still little, and Iona only really saw her occasionally because obviously she was working for Ban Lauren's wife. And Iona dies in the human noble origin, obviously. And when you go to the alienage, if you click on Amathine, she just talks about how, why isn't Mummy here? Where's Mummy? She should be here by now. Things like that. Amathine had blonde hair. like Sarah. You can't really see what colour Amethyne's eyes are. However, if she has her father's eyes, Iona's eyes were blue, so it would be colour other than blue. And Sarah doesn't have blue eyes. She has, I believe, brown eyes. So they'd be of a similar age. And we know that Amethyne was an orphan in the alienage because her mother wasn't there. She never came back. So she would have been ripe for the picking if someone wanted to adopt a little elven girl. It is purely a headcanon. I'm well aware of that, but like I said, blonde hair would be the same age as Sarah. If you're like, oh, but the name. Does Lady Emerald, everything that we've heard about her, does she strike you as the type of person who would be like, Amethyne? Well, that's a little difficult to pronounce, but I'll give it a go. Or does she sound like Amethyne? Well, that's a foreign name. I'll rename you Sarah. Yeah, that's a nice English name. You're Sarah now. I think she'd be the type to rename a child she adopted if their original name was too foreign, too difficult to pronounce. I think it's a good theory, personally. Very headcanon-y, but I like it.
It's nice to see this side of you, that you trust me.
Don't you go blabbing around, yeah? Because I'll have a big trusting foot up your pucker.
Oh, your secrets are safe with me, Sarah.
We'll talk later.
If you say so.
Alrighty then. Now then, Cowl. My adopted son, Cowl.
No. But you like demons. I enjoy the company of spirits, yes, which is part of why I do not abuse them with bindings.
It isn't abuse, if I ask.
Not always true. Also, I do not practice blood magic, which renders this entire conversation academic.
He won't bind me. He's a mage and he likes demons, but he won't help.
What's wrong? Seriously, no. We're walking into this conversation with absolutely no idea what's going on. Could you explain, please?
Why would you want Solas to bind you?
So I'm safe. If Solas won't do the ritual to bind me, someone else could. Will. Like the Warden mages. And then I'm not me anymore. Walls around what I want. Blocking, bleeding, making me a monster.
Oof. Oh, that's true for everyone. What if binding changes you? Here's the thing, that is true for everyone, but he's a spirit. If someone binds him and turns him to something that he doesn't want, he won't metaphorically become a monster. He will literally become a monster. I think Aenor would know that.
Isn't it extreme for Solas to bind you? What if that takes away the part of you that makes you, you?
Helping makes me who I am. I help the hurting. That is what I do. All I do. Am. Me.
And if binding you erases your mind? Your consciousness?
You wouldn't make me hurt innocent people. I don't want to hurt innocent people again.
We'll protect you. We'll figure something out. You may need to leave. We can't guarantee this. If a mage starts trying to bind Cowl, yes, we could run in and stop them, but what if we're slow? What if we trip and fall like every white girl in a horror film? Like, we can try, but we cannot guarantee that we will always be able to protect him. He's genuinely concerned about this. If he was feeling the pain of the demons at Adamant, feeling the pain of what they once were, and, their terror at what they had become, if he's genuinely concerned about that, then we'll figure something out, because we can't promise that we can protect him.
There has to be some middle ground between do nothing and bind Cowl with blood magic.
Indeed. I recall stories of amulets used by Ravani's seers to protect spirits they summoned from rival mages. A spirit, wearing an amulet of the Unbound, was immune to blood magic and binding. It should protect Cowl as well. The resources of the Inquisition could be used to find such a talisman.
Good. They will not take me.
Oh, that is something we have to get on ASAP. You know, Cowl is very dear to Aenor, and he's very dear to me too, so we don't want him worrying.
We're set to lose how many? And the charges blew through and saved the lot.
I know. That wasn't a battle, it was a brawl.
You all right, sir?
Still wouldn't trust them with a coin, but I'll take their help over dying against a wall.
Don't let them hear you say it.
Damn straight, the charges are useful. Now then, buddy, you got anything else to say?
It started out helping, taking the fear away. I won't take too much. I am not that.
Good. Good stuff.
I'll talk to you later.
How do you know?
I think because he should have something to say about Rhys and Evangeline.
Ships launch on changing winds. Dizzy sometimes, like the top of the stairs, but sometimes like dancing.
That's about Josephine.
I'll talk to you later.
How do you know?
I'll just do one more.
They should have been born together, but instead they were bound by light.
Oh, that's a video game. Is it Beyond Two Souls? I think it's called Beyond Two Souls. If it's not, then I'll have the name of the game down here. I guess maybe because I've done a main quest, he doesn't have anything to say about Rhys and Evangeline.
I'll talk to you later.
How do you know?
Ah, well. I believe, if my memory's correct, he mentions that he was upset that the Inquisitor found Rhys and Evangeline, but when finding them saved them, he was happy. So that's what Cowl is supposed to say about Rhys and Evangeline. Now then, Cullen. Cullen, buddy, you'd expect him to have something to say, given that he's in charge of the army. Hello there, buddy.
Did you need something?
No, really? Flippin' heck.
Is there anything I should know?
Many of our recruits viewed the Grey Wardens as heroes. Blackwall's presence is helpful. Knowing there's one warden immune to corruption has given people hope. Corypheus's grasp is not inescapable.
I love that line. I love that line. It breaks my heart. Anything else?
Is there anything I should know?
My senior officers report that the soldiers are in good spirits. Having the Imperial Army as an ally has bolstered their confidence. The Orlesian military is highly regarded. The Chevaliers following our champion. The recruits are taken with the idea.
Hey, I like that. I believe we've gotten that line because Aenor is a champion. Hey, nice. I didn't even realise that was a thing. Cool.
That's all for now.
Another time then.
Good stuff. And you were just speaking about Blackwall. He's the last on my list. Blackwall, buddy, he absolutely should have something to say. He absolutely should. Pardon me. Was anyone around here being racist?
He is doing so much. I should ride to join him. You said he is hidden. Fairbanks would find me. He'd see my spirit. So would his enemies. You'd fare worse than a legend.
Oh, we've got someone lusting after Fairbanks. I was about to... Is that him? No, that's Lord Chancellor. Oh, Fairbanks has so many admirers. So many.
Someone I knew once described Adamant to me. Adamant is, and always will be, the Order, he said. A guardian on the edge of the abyss. The lone soul that stares into oblivion and doesn't waver. That's what Warden Commander Clarel tried to be. Well, they all tried to be. I'm told her wardens never wavered. They went to their deaths willingly. They died for us. And Corypheus twisted their sacrifice to make it his own.
We stopped it. Clarel's pride is to blame. That's why we fight him. Yet we did stop it in the end. It's saddening and infuriating that Corypheus was able to twist them in the way that he did, but we did stop it.
We stopped him. We saved most of the wardens.
But not all of them. And they died thinking they were doing something good. There's no one to blame but Corypheus. Even Clarel's intentions were righteous. Her desire to protect was so great it led her astray. It's not right. To want to do good, to be good, and have that turned against you.
Then remember the intention. We can still try, right? Nothing is perfect. Yeah, I think this is probably what Aenor is holding on to. Are you all right, Dennett? That's Dennett's shoulder right there. Yeah, I think, like I've said before, she was so disappointed in the Wardens. And she has, it's not so much that she's lost respect for them, but the gleam has kind of worn off. She sees them more for what they are, rather than what she had built them up to be in her head. They did have good intentions. They did have good intentions. They thought they were dying. They thought that this was all to protect future generations from the Blight. She's holding on to the fact that they didn't go into this maliciously like, oh yeah, we realise that Corypheus is the one behind the calling, and we just want to kill each other, yeah, muhahaha. Like, no, they thought they were doing something good. And we can remember that, at the very least.
Don't think of what went wrong. Think of their intentions, their sacrifice. Honor their selflessness.
Clarel made mistakes, but she was a great woman. And she died a great woman. It's not the armor or the trappings of the Order. It's not the joining. At the heart of it, all a warden is a promise. To protect others, even at the cost of your own life.
Oh, hello, Fairbanks. You've got some admirers over there. They might want to talk to you. Oh, Bug, I was going to say something. And it slipped my mind. You gotta love how he stumbles over the joining. It's not the joining. I love that pause. As someone who knows Blackwall's story, I love that pause. It is so very, very telling.
Want a drink? I've a hankering for company. When I was a boy, there were these urchins who roamed the streets near my father's house. One day, they found a dog. A wretched little thing. It came to them for food. They caught it, tied a rope around its neck, and strung it up. Do you know what I did?
Oof. I don't think this is the conversation Aenor thought she'd be having with Blackwall when he asked her to the bar. I mean, maybe you saved it?
You stopped them. Cut the dog down.
I did nothing. Not a damn thing. It was crying. I saw the kicking legs, the neck straining and twisting. And I turned around, went inside. and closed the door. I could have told my father, or alerted someone. I didn't. I just pretended it wasn't happening.
Oof. You were a child, so did everyone else. You were weak. Yeah, ultimately he did say he was a little boy. You know, maybe he was scared. Maybe he thought that the kids would turn on him. Multiple kids against one. I think Aenor, he's clearly getting at something here. Very obviously. I think Aenor, you know, if he was there, if this was happening today, obviously he'd jump in and do something. You know, for as long as Aenor has known Blackwall, literally the first time they ever met, he had conscripted farmers, taught them how to defend themselves, and he made them fight back against bandits who were stealing from them. So that, you know, they'd know in the future, hey, we can do something. We aren't helpless. We can fight back. Blackwall has always done something. He's a doer. So clearly this event, in a way, it shaped him into the man he is today. He saw something bad happening, didn't do anything, he felt guilty, and ever since then, he's always done something, but the guilt of not doing something that one time, it still haunts him. Yeah, he was a child. You know, like I said, he could have alerted someone. He could have, but he didn't. He was a kid. You know, there's no... I don't think Aenor would be... She'd go so far to be like, oh, you were weak. If he said this happened last week, then maybe she might be going, what the fuck, dude? Why didn't you come tell me? Like, I would have done something, but this is many years ago. He was a small child.
You said you were just a boy.
I was old enough to know the dog was suffering and that it was wrong. I may as well have tied the noose myself. We could make the world better. It's just easier to shut our eyes.
Don't let that stop you. Your eyes aren't shut. All this over a dog. Ooh, I'm actually rather drawn to this, because like I said, she's known Blackwall for many months now, and out of all of her companions, out of all of the people she's met, he's the biggest doer of the group. Where other people might say, "Ooh, we should watch and see what's going on." If he sees suffering, he'd be the one who'd say, "No, let's jump in." Like, yeah, it might blow our cover, but people are suffering down there. We need to get to it.
When we first met, you were saving peasants from demons and outlaws. You're not a man who shuts his eyes. A little insane, maybe.
Of course you'd make light of it. You make saving the world look easy. The rest of us can only dream of matching what you've done. Don't you see? It's not just about what happened back then. There's always some dog out there. Some fucking mongrel that doesn't know how to stay away.
Ooh. Oh, I think Aenor would be very concerned at that. Extremely concerned. 'Cause here's the thing, he's kind of looking at Aenor in the way that she looked at the Wardens. I think now that she's, you know, now that she's not so much in the hero worship stage of how she viewed the Grey Wardens, I think she can look back on her behaviour and think, oh, I was putting them up on a pedestal, I wasn't really seeing them for what they were. And now that she's looking at Blackwall's behaviour, at how he treats her, she's probably thinking, he's doing that to me. You know, like he said, oh, you make it look easy. You make all of this look so easy. And, you know, she doesn't feel like it's easy, but she's If you're on the outside looking in, you'd say, oh, she's taking it in her stride. I think she is deeply concerned about Blackwall right now. However, I am just about out of time for this episode. In the next one, I think we're going to go back and check on Blackwall. He definitely doesn't seem to be doing all right. There's something a little off there, and I think Aenor wants to take some time out and just make sure he's okay. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.